Great to have you. Welcome. It is the Joe Pags Show. 1-800-383-9624, joepags.com. A lot of idiots out there refusing to do what Donald Trump says he'll do, which is change cities that are sanctuary cities to regular cities that would just uphold laws. It's interesting because cities are claiming to be sanctuary cities, and for those who don't know, sanctuary cities, quite literally, it means we're going to ignore federal law. We're not going to assist our brethren in law enforcement. We're not going to help find people and prosecute people who are here illegally and have broken the laws of the United States of America. These mayors and these city structures, these city halls have said we're not going to help. By the way, just to give you some final numbers on the Portland deal, in fact, more than half of the anti-Trump protesters in Portland didn't vote in Oregon. That's according to election records. This is from KGW-TV. At least 69 demonstrators either didn't turn in a ballot or weren't even registered in the state. I mean, that's out of 112 people. Think about that. That's only those who are arrested. So if you take that along with everybody who was out there protesting, when we say they were bussed in, it turns out they were bussed in. But talking about not upholding, not listening to the administration when it says we're going to fine you or punish you or withhold some funding if you don't do away with sanctuary cities, there are great cities like Chicago and New York and Los Angeles and you've got these cities that are literally saying we're not going to help. Boston now says it. We're not going to help find those who are here illegally. And if you think about it, you've got people who are committing crimes. And although the murder of Kate Steinle by an illegal immigrant that was deported like 9 times or arrested like 9 times, that's but one case out of many, many, many cases. You've got a situation where cities are quite literally saying, we're not going to help uphold the laws. We're going to pick and choose which laws we will uphold and abide with or abide by. And you think to yourself, well, wait a second. Why do you get to make that choice? If I'm driving down the highway and the speed limit's 70 and I'm going 85, can I say, well, I think you should choose to not uphold that law today? Or if I decide to go rob a bank or a convenience store, I don't think you should worry about that law today. For some reason, these cities think this is righteous. They're actually bragging. Rahm Emanuel, the idiot from Chicago, former chief of staff, with Barack Obama, the guy who came up with the phrase "never let a serious crisis go to waste." This guy is taking pride. I mean, he held a freaking press conference and gave a speech bragging about how he wasn't going to uphold sanctuary city laws. These cities are quite literally sanctuaries for those who are here illegally. They will not cooperate. Even if the feds calls it, hey, you got any illegals over there? They won't cooperate. They say, well, we're not telling you that. And then you hear some crap about how because you're going to separate families, you're going to split up families. Let me address the splitting up of families again. I've done it before, but I'll do it again. If you come to this country illegally, you know you're doing it illegally, or else you would go through the consulate, you would do it legally, then you would be welcomed, and you would acclimate, and you would be part of our society. You're doing it illegally for a reason. You're spending way too much money, some upwards of a year's salary in Mexico or Honduras or wherever you're coming from. You're doing it illegally. You know that you're taking the chance of getting caught and being sent back. You know that you're taking the chance of potentially you being sent back. Let's say you have a baby here. You being sent back with the baby's an American citizen, and the citizen can stay here, but you have to go back. That's if we're going to follow the laws. If anybody's splitting up the families, it's you. Your actions, your ignorance or ignoring of our laws, your breaking of the law, your thumbing your nose at our society. You can't do this in Mexico. You go to Mexico illegally, you're going to be arrested. It's going to be a hard time. You're going to be deported. And nobody complains about it. It's not ethnocentric nor racist if Mexico does it. But if we do it, somehow we're the bad guy. I'm here to tell you that if your family is at risk of being split up, you're the one doing it. And if you're Rahm Emanuel or Bill de Blasio or any of these other mayors or city councils in any of these huge cities in America that are saying we're not going to abide by the law, well, then you should be ousted. You should be replaced by somebody who thinks the rule of law makes sense. Or give a good reason why our borders don't mean anything to you. Give a good reason why the death of Kate Steinle and so many others doesn't matter to you. It's almost like Trump made them do this, Carrie. They're coming out and they're finding the nearest camera and microphone to be idiots. We don't care what the laws and we're going to always be a sanctuary city. Well, then you're an idiot. He actually got you to admit that you're ignoring the laws you feel like ignoring. It doesn't make sense. And by the way, the federal government can't force these cities to abide by the rules that it is in charge of according to the Constitution. Again, immigration and naturalization is up to the federal government according to the Constitution. So they can't force Rahm Emanuel to enforce their laws, but they certainly can hold back funding if they don't. That's how they got the drinking age changed from 18 to 21. They were threatening to hold back all sorts of federal funding until the states complied, because guess what? It doesn't say a drinking age in the Constitution. So to have leverage on the states, they said, we'll hold back the highway funds or whatever. Same thing with when they forced the federal speed limit down to 55. That's now gone, but they forced it to 55. If the states didn't want to comply with the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, the federal government had the right to withhold federal funding. That's the leverage they have because, again, there's no speed limit in the Constitution. So if Rahm Emanuel wants to lose a bunch of money for in funding for roads and bridges and schools and whatever in Chicago, he can do that. Or he can use his brain and simply say we're going to assist when the federal government says, hey, what do you have as far as illegal immigration going on? Carrie, do we have time for you to read that story quickly about the teacher who's in trouble for what he said to his students? And then we'll circle back to this after the Ed Klein interview. Go ahead.
All right, from Daily Mail, a substitute physical education teacher has been fired after he reportedly told sixth graders their parents will be deported now Donald Trump has been elected president. The staff member at Bret Harte Middle School, who has not been identified, was let go after he was secretly recorded making the racist remarks on a student's cell phone during class just 24 hours after the historic vote. He's heard saying, if you were born here, then your parents got to go. Then they're going to leave you behind and you will be in foster care. When an 11-year-old girl asked the teacher how authorities would find her family, the teacher's heard telling her he has all of her details.
Great.
I have your phone numbers, your address, your mama's address, your daddy's address. It's all in the system, sweetie, the teacher said in that audio.
Just an idiot. I mean, just an idiot. That's not the way it works. And again, let me go back to what I said originally. I'm the father of 5 children. If something happened to where I was going to be deported because of something I did or didn't do, I now have the option to bring my children with me. If anybody's splitting up families, it's the person who did the breaking of the law. Period. End of story. All right, Ed Klein, when we come back, his book is Guilty as Sin. I want his comments after Hillary Clinton's historic loss in the election. Stay here.
Joe.